Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and Star Wars Starfighter is a new film from Lucasfilm coming May 28th, 2027, starring Ryan Gosling, Matt Smith, Mia Goth, and we just learned this week the full cast, which also includes Pierre, Amy Adams, Simon Bird, Jamel Westman, Daniel Ings, and young actor Flynn Gray, who actually appears alongside Ryan Gosling's character in this pretty good-looking set photo of the two of them on a land speeder, forming our first official look for this film. In this video, I'm going to break down everything we know about this movie, the upcoming Star Wars slate, because yeah, we are finally getting Star Wars movies again in less than a year with Mandalorian and Grogu, and I think we need just a refresher on where this franchise is headed. Production for Star Wars Starfighter began this week. Back in February of this year, Lucasfilm head Kathleen Kennedy said that this film would be a standalone from the main Skywalker saga that would feature new characters, but that maybe some characters from the sequel trilogy might return, and that this film, Starfighter, will be set around 5 years after the rise of Skywalker. We learned a bit more about the film from Star Wars Celebration in Tokyo back in April, where Ryan Gosling said this: "The reality is that this script is just so good. It has a great story with great and original characters. It's filled with so much heart and adventure, and there just really is not a more perfect filmmaker for this particular story than Sean." Sean, you might ask? Yep, the director of this movie will be Sean Levy, who's directing this film from a script by Jonathan Tropper, who wrote on series like Warrior and Banshee. Sean Levy signed on to make this film after Deadpool and Wolverine, and say what you will about Levy, or that clip we all hate of him praising Taika Waititi's stupid ad-libbing on Free Guy.
Taika Waititi takes an already funny script and is ripping on a level that is freaking sublime.
What is this, the 70s? Sequels and IP, bro. Sequels are way better than originals. Who's the best martial artist in the whole wide world? Steven Sequel.
But if you make a movie for Disney that makes over $1 billion, they're gonna let you do other stuff. I think at the end of the day, I just miss seeing Star Wars on a big screen. And I think by May 2027, my son might be old enough to see a Star Wars movie. So I don't know, maybe we could see this together. And he'll be like, "Daddy, why are you crying? This movie's just okay. Oh no, please don't sing that Creed song again." And I'll be like, "Well, I just heard the news today." After Celebration, scoopers like Daniel RPK claim that the plot of Starfighter might be following a 15-year-old boy on a mission with his uncle, played by Ryan Gosling, as they're being pursued by a duo of villains. And now we know that Flynn Gray will be playing that kid, and that Amy Adams will be playing that kid's mother, making her either Ryan Gosling's character's sister or his sister-in-law. If that part of the rumor about the duo chasing them is true, who among the other cast members, including Pierre, Matt Smith, or Mia Goth, do we want to be part of that duo? Does any villainous duo automatically make them Sith? Could they be a new splinter order of Jedi, whom we now see the way others in the Star Wars universe probably see Jedi as creepy, child indoctrinating cultists, so that Ryan Gosling's character might be tasked with keeping this nephew the hell away from them? Seeing Matt Smith in the cast listing is interesting, because remember, in the months leading up to the rise of Skywalker, Matt Smith was reported to be cast in an undisclosed role for that film, but the role was ultimately removed from the film as it went from development into production, and audiences didn't know for sure until we saw it. In the rare instances Matt Smith has even discussed this in interviews, he said that his part became, quote, obsolete, and when he was asked if he was playing Palpatine's son, Rey's father, the actor just smiled and said,
I could not possibly say, but it was a pretty groovy thing. It was a really groovy part and concept.
Mia Goth, you should know from her roles as Maxine Minx and Pearl in the X film series. She's awesome.
Maxine Minx.
She was rumored to be attached to Marvel Studios' Blade before it got put on hold. Simon Bird is an English actor who's very funny, known from The In-Betweeners. Jamel Westman is an English stage actor who played an award-winning performance in the title role of the West End production of Hamilton. Daniel Ings is another British actor from a number of roles, but someone you might have seen as Tyrone in the Marvels. You know, the Kree advisor to Dar-Benn, remember? Tyrone? I just have to imagine Daniel Ings would be like, "Oh, please mention any of my other parts for the love of God." But from here, let's look ahead to the upcoming Star Wars slate to see how this movie will fit into what they're cooking up. The Mandalorian and Grogu will actually be the next Star Wars film, coming May 22nd, 2026. And while trailer footage was shown at Star Wars Celebration, I'm pretty surprised that nothing has been released to the public yet for that as of the taping of this video. We know that Pedro Pascal is returning to play the Mandalorian Din Djarin with Grogu. Sigourney Weaver will play Ward, a veteran Rebel Alliance colonel colonel and now the leader of the New Republic's Delphi Rangers, which is the name of the pilots that we saw in The Mandalorian Season 3 that included Captain Carson Teva at that bar with Zeb from Star Wars Rebels, former member of the crew of the Ghost, who will also appear in this movie. Johnny Coyne will play the villain, a warlord leading a faction of the Imperial Remnant, and Jeremy Allen White will play Rota the Hutt, son of Jabba the Hutt, who appeared as an infant in the Star Wars The Clone Wars film from 2008 that became the lead-in story for the animated Clone Wars series. Celebration footage includes everything that I just mentioned, and that included a memorable scene of Din Djarin in a long take moving through the back cabin of an AT-AT AT-AT Walker, taking out every stormtrooper in it and then blowing it up from the inside as it joins a caravan of 3 of these things walking up a snowy mountain pass. In January 2024, it was reported that the 4th season of The Mandalorian, 4th season, would be reworked into theatrical sequel films if The Mandalorian Grogu was a box office success. People talk all the time about the right wine to have with a meal, but we don't give as much credit to the proper pairings of movies and snacks. Popcorn's all well and good, but if you want something really memorable, you'll want something from Tokyo Treat or Sakurako. Tokyo Treat is a fun and exclusive monthly snack box packed with Japan's coolest and craziest treats. Each month, you'll get a rare Kit Kat flavor, limited edition chips, noodles, and the latest treats shipped worldwide from Japan straight to your door. Each box includes a cultural booklet featuring snack descriptions, allergen information, fun insights about Japanese culture, and some detail about the month's theme. This month, the Tokyo Treat theme is Snacktastic Moonfest. Each year, Japan launches limited edition lunar and rabbit themed snacks to celebrate the Tsukimi, or moon viewing. One of the traditional snacks are chestnuts, which are the special flavor of the Mont Blanc Kit Kats this month. Oh my God, I cannot wait. Oh man, this makes me want to book a flight to Japan right now so I can live off a diet of exclusively this. And if you're interested in more traditional Japanese snacks like mochi, wagashi, and Japanese tea, then also check out their sister box, Sakurako. Sakurako's box this month is also themed around the moon with the Autumn Moon Festival. It also comes with this really cool Tsukumi themed teacup and some really delicious tea to fill it with. Look at the beautiful rabbits that will help you enjoy your tea. Celebrate Tsukimi and experience Japan's moon viewing tradition from anywhere in the world with this month's Tokyo Treat and Sakurako boxes. If you're craving real Japanese snacks, missing Japan, or looking for a perfect gift, you can use my code NEWROCKSTARS to get $5 off your first order. Big thanks to Tokyo Treat and Sakurako for sponsoring this video. Now, on the streaming front, there will be a new season of Star Wars Visions coming up pretty soon in October 29th, 2025. And then in 2026, we're gonna get an animated Maul Shadow Lord series that will be set a year after the Clone Wars, showing where Maul went after he parted ways with Ahsoka in the Clone Wars Season 7 finale to start his crime syndicate and train a new apprentice during the Galactic Empire. Ahsoka Season 2 is also happening. Production began on April 28th, 2025. It's going to consist of 8 episodes, and we expect it to air on Disney Plus sometime in 2026. At Star Wars Celebration in April 2025, we learned from Dave Filoni that the season features 2 storylines, Ahsoka and Sabine being hunted by Shin on Peridia as part of their journey, which is connected to the Mortis gods and culminates in a confrontation with Baylan Skoll, who will now be played by Rory McCann to replace the late great Ray Stevenson. Meanwhile, Thrawn will be leading the remnants of the Galactic Empire and his Night Sister allies against the New Republic, whose forces are led by Admiral Akbar. And I assume that's where Hera and Ezra are going to be. Maybe Zeb finally joins up with them. If this season releases before The Mandalorian Grogu in the first half of 2026, it could set up some plot elements for that film. But if it releases when I think it will, in the summer or fall of 2026, it seems like it's going to be setting up the following title, an untitled Dave Filoni film that we think will be called Heir to the Empire. Back in December 2020, it was revealed that The Mandalorian and its related series were going to culminate in a climactic story event. And then a few years after that, at Star Wars Celebration in 2023, it was announced that Dave Filoni would make his live-action feature directorial debut with a film set in the New Republic era that would connect the storylines that began with The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, and Skeleton Crew. And yeah, this is probably going to be our big Thrawn movie. Dave Filoni is now the chief creative officer at Lucasfilm, and no one other than Kathleen Kennedy is really there to tell him no on anything. Another movie in development, we think it's called Jedi Prime. This is the untitled James Mangold film. Back in April 2023, during Star Wars Celebration, Lucasfilm announced that James Mangold would write and direct a Star Wars film whose story, quote, will go back to the dawn of the Jedi and explore the origins of the Force, set around 25,000 years before the events of A New Hope. It is set to be the start of a new era set within the Star Wars timeline, dubbed Dawn of the Jedi. The film has been described as a Cecil B. DeMille style style biblical epic, with Mangold citing the Ten Commandments as a major inspiration for the film. In April 2024, it was reported that Beau Willimon, who had written episodes of Andor, would co-write this film alongside Mangold. In an interview in May 2024, producer Simon Emanuel seemingly revealed the film's title, Jedi Prime. There's also the movie we think will be called Rey. This is the Sharmeen Obaid-Choni film, the first draft of it co-written by Damon Lindelof and Justin Britt Gibson, but then they were replaced by Stephen Knight, and then he was replaced by George Nolfi. When this has been talked about, it was supposedly going to be set 15 years after the rise of Skywalker and feature Rey trying to reconstruct the Jedi Order, but there's been various reporting that Rey could appear in other movies, and we don't really know what's happening with this one. There's also been some talk about an untitled Star Wars Taika Waititi film. In April of this year, Kathleen Kennedy even said that Tony McNamara is now co-writing the script with Taika Waititi. Hope you're packing some Advil, Tony. Lando, a project in the works since 2018, is also maybe still in the works. Donald Glover confirmed his involvement as a writer as of September 2024. And also, good old Rogue Squadron. It was once considered not happening, but in March of 2024, Patty Jenkins said she signed a new contract with Lucasfilm to write and direct it. How are we not seeing any of this stuff that's in development? And then most of all, who knows what's happening here? But November 2024, Simon Kinberg was reported to be writing and producing a new Star Wars trilogy with Kathleen Kennedy, who would be helping produce these films. In March 2025, Kathleen Kennedy confirmed that the trilogy was in development and revealed Lucasfilm was expecting completed drafts by June 2025. Show us the scripts. Kennedy also referred to Kinberg's trilogy as the next saga. Kinberg? Okay. Will Rey be in these movies? We don't know. Kinberg recently said he's drawing inspiration from Andor, and yeah, dude, no shit. We all are. It was really good. But is this trilogy really going to be as good as Andor was? Will anything be? Comment down below with your thoughts on which of these titles you're most excited for. And a special thanks to one of our YouTube members, Paulo Bianca, who supports us at the executive producer level. Follow me at EA Voss and subscribe to all the channels in the New Rockstars network for breakdowns and news coverage of everything you love. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.